Right, so welcome. So today what we'll be looking at is, in essence, how to get started with Power BI, more especially for CPT students, which there's a certain way that you can get into Power BI. So there's two types of Power BIs. There's one which is a Power BI desktop, which you can download onto your PC or your computer, your laptop, even your personal one. And then also if you're using the computers at the labs at the university. However, today we'll be focusing on when you are using it on your own PC, or if you have an online, if you go somewhere, in res or wherever, where you have an access to a computer. It could be a laptop, it could be a desktop, but as long as you can get onto the internet. So the main thing that I always suggest is to go to your student email. So your student email, you will navigate using whichever browser that you prefer. And yeah, this is my student email. And then the next thing that you need to do, you need to click on this square looking thing. So it has to be part of these apps. So at times it doesn't give you an option here as a shortcut. So you would need to click on more apps. So I've already done it. So when you click on more apps, it's going to land you on this page where it shows you more apps. Then at times, for me, as you can see, it says use across Teams, Outlook, and Microsoft. It's giving me bookings, org, Explorer, and Power BI over there, and YouTube. So if maybe for you it wasn't here, you would then need to click on all apps and then go and look for Power BI. But in our case, my case, Power BI is there. I just click on these three dots and I say open in new tab. And then it's going to open it on a new tab. I'm just going to bring it closer to this side. So I no longer need this. I can just like close it. Because now it's going to open Power BI on. Okay, so we would need to firstly connect our data onto our, so while we've landed on this, we would need to say new, but we need to connect our data, which we need. So in our case, we would have our data within Power BI, Blackboard. So if you go on Blackboard under class exercises, you'll be able to download that file called, so first, you need to go to Blackboard. It's called Power BI SA Commercial Flights Data Student Copy. Then you need to download it. Then what I've done, I went to my student account and created a folder under, my OneDrive, and saved that file over there so that I can at least download it if I need, or connect to it. So in this case, I would just like download it so that I can be able to connect to it. So I'll just download the file. That it's on my PC. Then the first thing that I need to do, so here it says new report. So if you click on new report, which I've done, you would then need to um, click on either get data or paste manually, or one leg catalog, or pick a publish semantic model. So in our case, we want to add data. So we'll click on get data. Prompt us to just log in again. Should go through. So now we're landing on this other page that looks like it has a full suite. So in our case, we have an Excel file. So we can either, click on Excel. So now it's going to ask us to either kind of click on OneDrive. So if you click on OneDrive, you can be able to go connect to the file using the link. So if I click on Browse OneDrive, it should show me like my folders within my own OneDrive. So it's under Documents. Then, no, it's not this one. Yeah, I think it's Power BI data. That's where I saved it. So this is the file. I'll just click on that, then click on select, which is then, as you can see, it has recognized there's the connection to the file. And then now it needs me to select next. Now it's going to load the data, which is what we want. So the first part is to actually load your data onto your dashboard that you're going to create. So you need to make sure that you know how the data looks. So currently it's showing us that the Excel workbook, so this is like an Excel file, obviously. Then within the workbook, we have different tabs in the Excel file. We've got a tab called airlines, we've got a tab called customer feedback, we've got a tab called customers, we've got a tab called destination, a tab called flights, and another one called ticket sales. So this is like, as it says, the SA commercial flights data. So it makes sense. Like there'll be names for maybe for airlines, customer feedback, customers data, destination data, flight data, and then ticket sales or revenue. So one thing that I also always like to do, for example, if let's say it's a new data set that you've never seen before, but that you want to connect to within a dashboard. It is always great to look at the raw data in Excel itself first before you can do anything. So what I'm going to do, remember all of these tabs that we saw? We just want to go to Excel and just make sure and have a feel of how the data looks. So as you can see, let's just open these up. As you can see down here, these are the different tabs. So each tab has a data set. So this one is called customer, this one is called flights, the other one is called ticket sales, the other one's called airlines, the other one's called destination, the other one's called customer feedback. And then that's exactly what we saw when we wanted, when Power BI was asking us to load the data. So at this stage, we're just going to focus on loading the data, but we will have to, at a later stage or like the next one of the next few steps, we're going to need to do something called data modeling. So data modeling is where we will, with the power of Power BI, connect all of our data sets. As you can see them currently, they're on different tabs, and even Excel has data modeling, but let's say you didn't do data modeling on Excel, you wouldn't be able to, connect all these different tabs. You'd be able to create like, for example, a pivot table just for this one, a pivot table just for that one. Then you'll be able to get your analysis per tab. And then if you needed to bring them together, you would need to correlate like different things, or I don't know, like paste the data in a way that will take you forever to do. So basically, using Power BI, we'll then be connecting our data using primary keys. So it's also, once we're at that level where you starting with the data, you need to start identifying what are the primary keys within your data, because those are unique, I would say, fields or columns that can appear in different data sets. And most of the cases, it would be something like customer ID, something ID. It could be like a number that's like an ID, which can identify something. So I always like to look at the data and just make sense and say, okay, within this one, it looks like customer ID could be the unique identifier of each of these customers. Although, I mean, they could have the similar names and surnames, but based on the customer ID, they are different people because they could have like, similar things, but within the flights company's data, we know that it's a different customer or different flyer. They could be both Tuli Molloy and a female, a 19, and from the same place and the frequent flyer. But if the IDs are different, it's definitely a different person. There's no duplication in that sense. So it's always nice to while you're making sense of your data. So in this case, that could be a kind of like a primary key in this data set. So if you go on to the one that says flights, so on here you can see we've got something called flight ID. I would also say flight ID would also be something that we could use as a primary key. You could have more than one primary keys within a certain data set. I think this one airline as well, because we do have something called airline here. Yeah, that would have like airline names, for example, if we needed to link by airline. So I would highlight those. Then within the ticket sales, as you can see, we've got something called ticket ID, we've got flight ID, then we've got like price per ticket and total sales. I would say ticket ID would be like a primary key that we could use. You can see also customer ID, which is also in the customers files, and then also flight ID. So this helps also to kind of determine which data set will you kind of use as the main data set to connect everything to. So in our case, you see this one already has three. The other one, I would say two flight IDs there as well. On here, there's only one primary key. So ticket sales seem like it has three. So we could connect the flights, um, table or data set, we can connect the customer through customer ID and the ticket ID as well with maybe some other ones as we move. Then here we've got airline name, which we can also kind of highlight because it has the brand name over here. Remember also in the other one, which had flights, it also has the brand name. So we could be connecting those. Then I would say like destination. Let's look if there's something else somewhere. Flights. It's just the arrival. I don't think. So yeah, I think the province, because there is province over there, we could connect province with maybe the one from the customers far. Yeah, we could connect the province from the destinations with the one on the customer table as well. And then we've got customer feedback. So customer feedback will probably be like if you've had to fill in a survey, and then within the survey, we know what's the feedback ID, like the survey, if it has to be a survey. Then the customer ID, which we also saw somewhere else, I think I wouldn't say a feedback ID would be something that we can use since we know the others, nothing else had feedback ID, but we saw customer ID under customers, also ticket sales. We saw flight ID as well. Then yeah, basically this is this customer that answered the survey and they climbed on this flight based on the ID. They rated the service 5 and they gave a score of excellent. So now we have made sense of our data and we're happy within our Excel file. Then we can go back to our Power BI platform. So over here, we can see all our tabs. So one thing that I'll, suggest, you need to click on each of them, but one by one, so that this is also when you're going to be cleaning and transforming your data. This is now where we need to transform our data. So I'm going to click on that. So currently here it says this airlines data. As you can see, it says this heading. It's going to give it this column 1 and column 2, which I don't think that's what we want because we want our heading to be airline name and base city, the same way as we had it on our Excel file. So what we want to do, we want to go to transform data. So we're going to start with this one, transform data, and it's going to take us to this. So you don't need to be scared, just let it load. Um, just need to follow what I'm obviously doing. So we've landed on this page called Power Query. So the next thing we need to do, we are trying to make this first row become the headers. We don't want it to be called column 1 or column 2 because we want our column names. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to, okay, just right click on here. So I'll just right click on this airlines thing. Then if you go down, we're trying to look for a setting called use first row as headers. I know at times it's like find it quickly. Um, yeah, let's just back here. Sometimes you do have to, press around. Oh, it's not there. Oh, okay. So what I've done, okay, just we go back. I just went back to this table thing. I just right clicked there. And I'm gonna go down. Just look at the different options. If you needed to change like for example, what type of data was it? Um, why doesn't it seem like it's there as well? Um, oh, sorry. Let's try that one because there's another thing there in the top corner. So if you click on that, yeah. So if you click on this one, I'm just going to click on the side. The the top left table looking thing, not on these columns. If you click on left click on that, then we want this option that says use first row as headers. So once we click that, you will see it will remove the column 1 and column 2. Then our first row, which was airline name and base city, are now going to be our column headings or our field headings. So we are happy with this the way it is. So what we want to do, we are happy with loading that. So we've only loaded one. So what you want to do is you want to go to, I know we need to load this. So we did transform, and it's going to want us to create a report as well, which is fine. And then we'll just load the other data once we have the report. So let's just say for now, create semantic model, because that's your data model that you need to build before you create any report, because that's where your data engine is going to be, where you're going to be doing everything from, basically. Um, so we're going to click on create a semantic model. Let's call it SA commercial slides data. Now it's creating it, loading. So remember, we have all of those tabs to still load. So now we just wanted to load one thing, and then we then gonna load the others after that. Okay, so now this is what it has created. So this is called a semantic model. So there's the table there. It's also showing it here as a table as well. And then if you click on, you don't need to worry about this for now, the model thing. Um, as you can see, it says we've got one table, which is the airlines table. Over there, we go back to tables. Um, so we could either go on to new table. So now when it does the new table, it wants to start a new table. Let's just back. Oh, rather than saying new table, let's just go back to get data because we're trying to fill in the data. We don't want to punch it in manually because we've got our data. So I know this is on the way. I'm just gonna close that. Go to get data. Just want all our data next to us. So we're gonna repeat the same thing that we've done before. See, now it's already giving us these options, and we know that we have got an Excel file um, that we want to connect to. And we do the same thing that we did. We go and try and find it within our folders where we've saved it. There we go. So you're going to have to do this. Um, so I think for now, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to select all of them, but I'll then need to transform all of them. So I mean, not all of them besides airlines, because we've already done airlines. So we're going to select customer feedback, select customers, destination flights, and flight tickets all together so that we can transform them all together. So the first one was just to show you that you can do the first so that you can understand if you had to change the column, the top row to be the headers, what do you need to do? But once you are comfortable, you can then load all of them. Then we're going to need to transform one by one. As you can see, here they are before we load them. So the first thing that we always need to make sure that our first row is headed. So we're happy here. It has the customer IDs there, the names, the gender. So it has to look like how your Excel looks. So if you go to your Excel, remember this is how it would look on Excel, where the first row is my headings. I don't want it to say column one or column two. Basically, that's what you want to see over here as well. So we're happy with the customers one. We happy there's no gaps. It's already cleaned. So it will also be great to clean your Excel file before you even load it, because you don't want to get here and then there's like gaps that you need to, you know, do magic and go back to your Excel file. So you're wasting time rather than doing it up front, basically. So we're just gonna go to each of them. So another thing that we need to look at, we don't just just randomly go. So you would need to go on each of them. So I'm just going to right click to make sure that we have the right data type. For example, the first one should be a number. Like it could be like it's not oh, this is a text. So it will also say, because it has like a C 1000. So also here, it's showing us here, this ABC. If you click on that, that's a text. So this is also a text, ABC, that's also a text. That's a number, you can see 123, that's a text, ABC, that's a text. So if we needed to change it to be something else, we would then, for example, if it was a date, you would then click on this ABC and change it to be what it should be. So over here, we happy text, 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 departure time. So this is already made to be a time, which is fine. Distance is a number. It's already showing as a number. Um, that's a text. So here it's already done as a date. As you can see, that's a text. Flight ID text. Quantity is a number. We're happy. Price per ticket. Price, we want it to be actually a currency because it's money. So you want to change it to currency. Let's just replace current. It might give us a US dollar, which it always gives by default. So we would need to um, change that. Um, let's just go to currency, then local. We want to say, let's see if we say English South Africa. Or is that like the column type? Let's just see. No, it's not changing the US dollar, but I'm sure there is a setting um, where we can change it. We'll just look at it a bit later because I know we should be able to change it. Should be able to change it. Okay, for now, okay, I know like once you loaded it in your data, you can literally change it. We want to also change total sales. Let's just go back. Where's this thing? Total sales into currency as well. Okay, both of them are currency. Currently showing the US dollar, but we can always change it. Then we go to destination. So over here, you can see it says column 1 and column 2 as the headers, which is not what we want. We want our first row to be our headers. So we're going to click on this table thing, left click, use first row as headers, click on that. And now city is our row header. It's a text, and then province as well. Then we click on customer feedback as well. So here we're happy. Our first row is our headers. It's a text, text, text. Rating is a number. That's a text because it's comments. And then we're happy with all our tables. Now we can say save. It's going to load all of the rest into our data model, which is now where the magic starts happening. But Power BI, the great thing, it's gonna use its own intelligence because it has like AI and all, intelligence try and connect our data for us and suggest where it sees that there are connections based on, just looking at the data itself. As you can see, it's already made some connections. So what I want us to look at, this is our first connection. It says, if you look at this, if you hover on this one, it says on the flights one, it highlights customer ID. It connected customer ID with the customer ID in the customer feedback one. That's the first connection. Another connection within customer feedback and customers, it took the customer ID and connected those two. And then between these two, the flights and the customers, if we look at this relationship, so it's called relationships. It is used, let's just see. Not that, not those, sorry. Just needed to make that small. It's between this and that destination. So if you can look at the relationship, seems like there's something else. Yeah, let's just move that out the way. Destination doesn't have anything as yet because I think we would need to make it manually. Um, let's just push this up a bit so that we can see all the relationships. Close this, bring this closer. Okay, it seems like everything, we can see it now. Okay, there's a relationship between flights and ticket sales. So if you look here, it's used flight ID as well to connect. So you can see within ticket sales, this one, there's also this one that's connected to ticket sales, which is customers. It's connected with customer ID within ticket sales. Then airline is connected, the airline names is connected with airlines there by flights. It seems like everything is connected besides the destination. So we can force the destination, but I don't think we really, I mean, if we need to use this data, like for example, but we already have, okay, we have customers, like where they are from, but destinations would kind of link with, I would say city, because look at our data. Let's just look at our destinations. We've got a city, and if you go to flights, maybe not flight, airlines, we've got a base city. Okay, it's not the same, um, but we've got province and destination, which could be this province. Yeah, although it wouldn't really make a difference. But for example, if we wanted to force a relationship, we could drag this and come and paste it over there. And then it will create, it's going to suggest, it says, okay, I've seen in the destination table, you want to connect it to the customers table using province. Then if we are happy, so we say, so this thing says the relationship has cardinally many to many. This should be only used if it's is expected. Yeah, I mean, it's fine if it's many to many, because it goes, this one goes in many of them. So for example, if you wanted it to one, like just one thing, so it's fine if it says many to many, and then we're just gonna save it. So we've made a connection over there. Um, so yeah, basically now this is our data model, which we could then, start analyzing. So everything that is connected to anything, you could then start analyzing in our sense, I would like us to use the ticket sales as like the main, because it's connected to several. It's connected to that. It's connected to that. It's also, let's just see, flight ID, which other, oh, ticket ID. We could also use ticket ID, which was in, let's see, where was ticket ID? There was somewhere else where there was ticket ID. I think it was in the customer feedback. No, it was just customer ID and flight ID. If we look at our Excel file, there was only one ticket ID. It was just flight ID and customer ID. That's like common. Okay, cool. So basically, we could run an analysis using the ticket sales. For example, if we wanted to look at total revenue by, for example, province, then we would then need to use the province from the customer file, and then, I mean, table, or if we wanted to look at revenue by, I don't know, flights, then we can also use the flight ID, which is here, which is also, if you also wanted to look at customer feedback, what is the feedback from customers that were in a certain flight? We could use this customer feedback thing, but we can also say how much revenue did this flight make, the flight ID, and what was the ratings? Was it positive based on this data model? So basically now this is your data model. It's currently on editing. So if you want to, always encourage you to save. This is going to stay saved. Now it's currently on editing. Click on viewing, but make no changes. So this is going to allow you not to be able to change. So currently it is kind of saved because it's on an online platform. And then even when you go back, you can always kind of interact with your data model. So I think for this session, I would say we are all good. We've loaded our data, which was one step, or navigating to finding Power BI was the first one. Second one was to load the data. Third one was to transform the data. Then, after transforming the data, which also goes with cleaning the data, we then connected our data using data modeling relationships, which Power BI really helped us to kind of, create the relationships. But we can also get an opportunity to adjust your relationships as you analyze the data, and then you see it doesn't work the way it's connected, and then you can go back and forth it and create new relationships based on what you want to analyze at that time. So, but yeah, basically that's all for the session. And yeah, next time we will then have a look at, how to actually start doing some analysis, some frequency tables, like playing around with the data, looking at numbers, and then thereafter building, visualizations, which will then lead into a full dashboard, which will have different pages telling a story. So yeah, for now, that's all. And yeah, so after that, you can leave it at home, you can close, or you can, go, if you go to file, you can download this file as I always say, if you download it, export it to, so it will give you this type of file, which is called a PBIX file, which I always say, please download. For example, if you are using the computers at the university, and it's not online, but if it's online, it will stay on your online platform. But if you wanted to open it, the same thing you were doing somewhere else, you would need this file that you've downloaded, but then you would need to save it. I always say save it on OneDrive. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag this and save it on my OneDrive. So what this does, this PBIX file, if I open it anywhere that has Power BI, it will go back to what I was doing. Um, within our space. So you can always open it in another PC or whatever, and then you'll continue from where you were. So yeah, basically, and then if you wanted to go back to your thing, I'm just going to close. You can always go back to my workspaces because that's where your things sit. Then you can go to look for SA commercial flights, which is that. We don't have a report yet because we didn't want to create a report yet. We just have our data. Then from there, we would then, the next step, start creating our report from this data.